All right. So this is like a continuation of the ideas that we had. Let's switch this over. So this is a continuation of the ideas that we were brainstorming last time. And then the whole point is to kind of elaborate on those ideas and flesh them out. And then also we can kind of brainstorm off those ideas. So there's 5 different tabs here. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs, or 7 main ideas. So we can just duplicate these. And the whole point is to figure out who the end user is. And then with your idea, you would apply it to different industries. And so when you do the different industries, that's kind of like a form of brainstorming as itself. And that can kind of spur new ideas and find the right one for us. So we're still in the expansion of ideas phase, and then next time we'll start cutting them down. There you go. Can you guys see my screen where I can see you guys?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
Wait, what?
Because like I have you guys on the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys don't see that on my screen?
No.
Sweet. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. So first idea, we'll just figure out, like last time we grouped these, we'll figure out how to like condense them down to like just one idea, like broad idea, and then we'll kind of branch that off to different industries and talk about the end user. Key point, end user is something super specific. So teacher is too broad. Young suburban primary school teacher is what we're looking for. And then after we have that main idea, we apply it to different industries. So say we have like an idea to use, I don't know, an idea. Okay, you would apply that process to industry, healthcare, education, politics, all that stuff. And then when you do that, you would then talk about the specific end user in that industry and then what they would use that thing for. And then I think next time, I'm not sure if it's going to be like the condensing of ideas. I think the next step also is more like fleshing out things. So at the next point, you're really like focusing now on your end user, because you're saying, okay, these specific group of people need X. And then you can really say, does your idea really solve that problem? And it'll be another step of brainstorming, I think. All right. I haven't read the next chapter, so I haven't. So, okay. So a broad idea. So we had this one, create social media platform, localized in a neighborhood or based off your neighborhood with an example of the neighborhood app or next door app. Is that called? Right. And then create social media platform based off of LinkedIn, but more casual, social, where we have mentors, apprenticeships. And then the next one would be creating a social media platform, adding friends off of, basing friends off of interests rather than who we know. So similar to this. Okay, so we group those together because we like them. So I guess a way to condense all that is create online community to create online community centered around interests or values, right?
Yeah. Centered around like skill sets.
Skill sets, interests, and then location. Skill sets, interests, location. Let me get my whiteboard out. The skill sets. Here, I'll turn this so you can see it. All right, we can't. Okay, so skill
I
sets.
can hear your dog, but I can't see the whiteboard.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. She's just staring at me.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's love.
Feel a little bad. I'm just gonna let her out. Okay, hold on.
So we're just trying to find something that like combines all three of those together.
I think so. I
Right.
think we're trying to kind of just simplify it and kind of group it more condensedly into one thing.
Yeah, so like one social media platform, so that's online community, right? Or I guess what is a platform? Platforms where people can create their own online communities.
What's your question?
So
Yeah.
what is a platform? Because it's not really an online community. A platform is like a space for people to create online communities.
Right.
So we would create a space for that, for people to so it'd be something like so Facebook creates a website where people can just like bounce off of Facebook, and so they can bounce to interest groups, they can bounce off of like locations, bounce off um, whatever they're interested in, right? So what are we trying to really solve here? I think what we're pointing at is like, for some reason we don't like Facebook, and it's not solving a problem of ours, where we can meet, have good things going around our community, in the local community, b learn from people, and then meet new people off of it.
Yeah. Look, one of the things that I guess Facebook doesn't do is it doesn't bring your neighborhood together. It just reinforces the circle of friends you already have. So this is a different way of approaching meeting the people, especially if you're in a big city and you don't know your neighbors, right? Like this could be a way of you to share news or share things going on in your community that otherwise would be out of your radar.
Okay. Build online space um, ground from, so like decentralized group, right? Because like Facebook is kind of like they built an online space around yourself, and then when you get into Facebook, you then make it replicate your current reality. So you make
Right.
yeah. So Facebook is a virtual reality based off of your current reality. And so we would like it to be its own reality where you can step into it and then be fresh, brand new, meeting that right? Then meeting the people around you in a new way, almost as like you've reinvented yourself.
Right. Because I think when you first logged into Facebook, you were looking to connect with people you knew. And you were looking for your friends on Facebook. And what we're talking about in this situation is meeting your neighbors around the block and things that to connect with them and yeah, perfect. Discover, I think is a great way to re-say that. Like build those community it build a community in terms of proximity and not in terms of like I know you already.
Yeah. Discover. Okay. I like that, just keeping that broad to like discover community rather than reinforce community. And then that has like, well, discover community could be like discover your proximal community, and then also could be like discover like a new hobby
Yeah.
type thing. So what prevents us from having that now on Facebook? It's when you log in, you're basically find, okay, what do I know? Boom, boom, boom. I'm grabbing everything that I know. Friends, I'm doing interest groups that I like. And it's not bringing you into this new, like, here's this random thing in front of you. Like, do you like this? Boop. Are you interested in this? Boop. I feel like there's in discovery, there's almost like a sense of unknown, like randomness to it. And they don't have that with Facebook.
Right. Like I think one of the central features could be only being able to really connect with people within like a 5-mile radius or a 10-mile radius. And then that would really force you to really see what's going on nearby.
Something like that.
Sure, yeah.
There's this game that I was playing, and the game was so like broad, and like you could do anything in it, and it made it less fun. And when I started like putting limits on myself, saying like, okay, I can't take the helicopter, I can't do this, and I have to like sneak everywhere, it became a lot more fun. So it's kind of like playing God mode. Like God mode in a video game is not, it gets boring after a while. And so like you start doing like normal limits that you'd have as a real life character, and then it becomes more interesting. Right? In Facebook, you're in God mode in a way of like you're anonymous. Like you can say or do anything that you want. So what if you create a limit on that? Would that change things? What if you have a limit that like will always show everything that you do?
That would
What do you
be,
mean?
that would be it.
Like show like who you search for. You know what I mean? Like what if it was, yeah. What if it was Facebook? Yeah, like what if it was Facebook, but it showed you the inside out? It showed you what the developer saw about you. That'd be weird.
That would show a form of transparency that you don't really get anywhere else, right? Like that would be completely different.
Yeah. People would be upset, man.
Yeah.
Why would people want to join that? It's complete transparency. Oh God. Going with spelling again. So what would be the point to join this? It would be like an actual, well, it's almost similar to real life, because in real life you have transparency in a way. Like you can't hide things on your face because people can tell, like whether you're lying, whether you're making up things, whether you are really a crazy person. Like you can tell, when people say something and you're like, oh, that dude's crazy. Versus Facebook, they're just like, oh, I saw this. And you're like, oh, maybe.
You're also less likely to post absurd things or derogatory things towards other people if it's going to follow you across. Like if I could post it today and then someone can see on my feed, like in my history, it'll be like, Steve said this crazy thing about this conspiracy theory or about these people, because it stays with you and there's no way to get rid of it. I think that'd be a very interesting feature.
So this is similar. So it's similar to, if you think about like, nah, not really. I was thinking about like Reddit. Like when you have an account, everything that you like comment and post on, it shows other people if they like look into it. But it doesn't show that person's history of like their what they look at, I don't think. So that would be different, basically showing everything that you see.
Like if you looked up your ex,
yeah,
2 weeks ago and you looked her up like 10 times,
like everybody would see that. Yeah,
scandalous,
right? A bunch of old people would get, yeah, bunch of old people would get fucked up on this thing. They'd be like, "Oh, it's just like Facebook," and then their wife's like, "Oh, we're getting a divorce." But why would you want that? It'd be a space where you would believe what you're reading more, right? Do you hear that? You're just like, boom. So it'd almost be like, do you think it would be tied back to that person's like first name, last name? I don't think I would like that. But I think if it was tied to like a user profile and you made a user profile with a random name, and then it was complete transparency. So it's almost like you can step into a completely new world away from your current world. That way, it's almost like it could be toxic, but at the same time, like you can really see, okay, hey, this person put a lot of time into their community in a way, into their user profile, and like they post a lot of cool stuff, and like I really appreciate what they look at, what they're all about. I don't even hear that anymore. It's just like dead noise now. All right. Any other ideas here? It's like she's doing it on purpose. Like, so which idea? Which idea are we gonna take from here? So let's narrow it down to one. I'm getting there.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're playing. Okay. So if we could just pick one idea from that.
I like the first one. I like the discover your community around you instead of reinforcing the community you already have.
So how do you do that? So instead of prioritizing friends that you may know, what would you see first?
You can only see people within proximity limits, right? Wasn't that the thing with Tinder?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I never used it because I'm old.
Yeah.
But I thought, from what I understand, the premise of it is you see people in your immediate area and not outside of it. So that could be a central function of a central feature of this platform.
Okay. I like that. Well, so proximal limits, and then going back to this, that hits this mark right here. And then how would we encourage more casual meetups, mentorship, apprenticeships, hobbies?
This is great. Just bring her into the camera. We want to see her.
She gotta go pee. She was banging on the door. She's like, I gotta go. So interest.
We can do badges. You're talking about like how do you incentivize people to actually go out and do stuff, and we can create like a badge, sort of like a Boy Scouts or things like that, like a badge for, you know, going and showing somebody a skill, and then the reverse, reaching out to someone and learning a skill from somebody else, and it can be points based almost.
Yeah. Proximal limits, gamification. Okay. That's cool. You could make that like a really big like volunteer social service type thing. Like,
there's this, go ahead.
I was just thinking proximal limits, like you got your neighborhood around you, and then you're basically saying like, oh, I'm gonna go help Granny down the street. Boom, she gives you like a thanks for that. Yeah.
Right. There's this, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of art of manliness.
Uh-huh.
It's essentially like this, for Sean that doesn't know, or people who are watching and don't know. It's like this website where it shows you skill sets. Strenuous life. It's like things that you can do to like be a better person in terms of like manly things. So like it'll say working out or whatever. And they actually created this thing, and I'll send them in the chat. This is like a social platform, kind of what we're talking about, and they charge. So I think it's like $200, and it's a 12-week thing, and you get badges for joining. And it's all about like going out and doing stuff in the real life, but it's an online community where you can challenge each other to like the badges that I was talking about. So it's like fitness based, it's skill based, it's like learning a skill, learning and like a code, like how to code, like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people are actually paying. They have like 53, 54 classes, and the classes are up to 450 people.
So people are paying to like be part of it?
Yeah. I've been like this close 2 different times to signing up. Because it was like a very interesting concept. And they have like, I think the weekly add-ons, I think they're like weekly challenges that you do. Yeah, like struggles, I guess is what they're calling it. So like it'll say like take like in this week, take 5 days out of the week and practice like a musical skill or learn how to do this, or so it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of what we're talking about here.
Right. Okay, I get it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So the difference between this and so this program right here, and then this would be, it would be like an online platform for people to create their own badges like this.
Right.
And so the way that we could monetize that is the way that kind of Facebook gets monetized. You would do ads and stuff like that tailored towards those people.
Right. Specifically if it's proximity based, right? Like the local bakery would know that we have 200 people within 5 miles of the bakery because we would have their locations at all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be even more lucrative because you know that these are people who are engaged in the community, are interested in helping the local economy, and are active in the community. So I think that's better than having a Facebook ad where it's just saying, well, there are 400 people nearby, but you don't know if they work 100 miles away and they're barely at home, right?
Yeah.
We'd have that access to all that information.
Okay. Let's put that down. Okay. Struggling. Where the hell is the merging thing? Okay. There we go. Okay, so the idea would be build online space with proximal limits and gamification. And then, so let's apply it to different industries. So could you even get rid of the online? How to simplify this? Build space. So then, yeah, I guess. So then the industry would be like social media. What if you do it to like entertainment? What if you did it like career-wise? like a LinkedIn type thing. Like we talked about the mentorship thing. Like, what if you did it in a career-wise where, you get recommended for the things around you. Or let's do build space with limits and gamification, and then we can branch that off to different things. So social media. What would the end user be for the one that we've talked about?
For which one?
So for the social media, say we're talking about the people that want to, I guess, build a better community. Let's go there. So community. Let's say a volunteer. Let's say that, and classify them there. And so, how do we make them specific? So it would be someone that is in the immediate area.
Mm-hmm. Civically engaged.
Yeah. Civically. Really, that's a word.
That is a word. I don't know how to spell it though. Okay. I've only said it out loud. I've never actually written it down.
Calm, major, man. So in the immediate area, civically engaged. How do we really? So like, are we thinking age group? How educated? What's their income?
I think they'd have to be middle class and higher.
Yeah.
To be able to have time to volunteer. Yeah. Definitely educated, so bachelor's and above. So if that's bachelor's and above, that'd be at least 22 to 45, sure.
Yeah. And then would we target older people, like retired people? So that'd be a good group of people to volunteer for.
And I also think they are the people with the most amount of time on their hands.
True.
And the people who use Facebook the most now.
Mm-hmm. So let's say like 70. Okay, what else? End user. How would they lean politically? Would that influence how they think? I know Republicans are more like kind of conservative based. I see a lot of Republicans that are middle class volunteering. What influences them? So I just kind of have a couple of references for friends that I know. I see a lot of like veteran volunteering there. And then people that are more like left leaning, I see more of volunteering for like a homeless problems. So end user, I don't know if you can take something from that. Okay.
Couldn't it just be anybody? Like, why is it limited?
Because the whole point is like, you can't make a product for everybody, because then it's just going to be like gray. You have to make something that's like red for a certain group, and then they get hooked on it, and then they start spreading it to other people.
But isn't that the whole point of like building a space that they can do that themselves? So you kind of want everybody to go into it, and then they can do their whole thing inside of that space, like find their groups inside of that. That's what I thought.
So right, yeah. So think about this then. Their education. Do you
Why
create?
Does that...
Right, I'm going to tell you. So like, you create an open space do you create it for developers where it's really truly open and you can create massive different customized communities, or do you create something simplified so that
Yes.
like the easiest person can?
And yes, like why not all of it? You want to limit it to like specific groups like that? Like just say this website's only for developers to get together, or do you want it to be like you could just make your own groups? You're like limited to this like 5 mile radius, but like you could find other developers inside of that radius, or you could find other people that like skateboard in that radius or something like that. You
Yeah,
really
well,
want
well, so it's like how much autonomy can you give people? Because if somebody walks into Facebook and it's like coding, who's going to get interested in it? So you make it simplified for like an everyday user and the developers that like would really want to customize things in a way that you could do it with like Android. Like Facebook is more similar to like Apple, right? Versus like an Android phone.
to.
And so like, and even talking about that, like Apple versus Android, those are different markets themselves, and they're tailored to that market. And if they were just tailored to like an Apple Android type thing, like it wouldn't have gotten any hook. So like you need that hook, and then it can expand. So I get what you're saying, like about making like an open space for like a lot of different hobbyists to get into it. So I guess what you're really saying, to me, it sounds like you're saying that you want everybody to be able to add to this space. So that means make it as simple as possible to me.
Well, like, what do you mean by simple versus complicated? Like, do you want people to do like a MySpace where they're customizing their whole profile? Like, is
Right.
that what you're
Yeah.
talking about, complicated?
Yeah. Along that line, like, do you want to make it so it's like truly open to where they can create like apps on their community space? Or do you just want them to be able to like post this, post this?
Why can't you have all of it?
Yeah, I guess you can. I just think it's like not a smart marketing move.
Because you're trying to
It's
find a niche, right? You're trying to
Yeah.
find a very core group of
isn't
people.
that like didn't the whole part of the idea list was to build a space for like basically everybody within this radius? Like, but now it's getting, I guess we want to go down to like a specific thing.
Yeah, so you're looking for like the end user, like, so like this, right? This is the key point. End user isn't like a teacher. So like for this one, end user just isn't like a volunteer. It's like, who is the specific volunteer? Like figure out the exact person that you're making this thing for. And a bunch of those individual people are going to buy this. And then at that point, that's when those people are your hook. And then it'll branch out to more and more people. But you need to really find those people that like, you need to make something especially just for those people. And then at that point, those people will spread it to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And then that's when your idea gets big. So you have to look at who you're making this thing for, right? I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if social media is the industry that you're talking about then, because social media is pretty broad. And if you're talking about like people that are volunteering, civically engaged, middle class and higher, bachelor's and above, are you looking for like, I don't know if social media is like the right description of that industry. I don't know.
So you think, yeah, I get what you're
Like that
saying. So
seems
that,
more like political almost. Or like, I don't
or
know.
just volunteer based.
Yeah.
Let's,
Nonprofit?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a better way to go about it. So, yeah, then like a social media thing. Well, what is social media all about? Social media is about like showing who you are. and
Well,
to
that's like
socialize.
what I thought we were going with for this direction was like, so you have your 5 mile radius, let's say, and you have some interest. You want to find those other people have the same interests in that kind of close neighborhood, like so the end user could be basically anybody. It's just people looking for like a bigger community to join, sort of. Like how do you make that like a specific end user?
Mhm.
I don't think social media is really conducive to picking one end user unless you really like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so let's just do like a thought experiment for like social media. Just take like, this can just ignore the idea. Think of social media as like Facebook. Would the end user be there? Uh, it's like, okay,
Well, when Facebook started, it was the end user was a college student. If you weren't a college student, you couldn't get a Facebook. That's how it started, you know? And in order to prove that you were a college student, you needed a .edu email address. And only from certain schools were allowed to join Facebook. So that's how Facebook started. And then it branched out, unlike Instagram or MySpace, where anyone could join, regardless of, right, being associated with a college. So I think for something like social media, it could be someone who's trying to learn a skill,
mhm.
right? Like it would be, for this specific case, it would just be geographically based, the
Well,
requirement.
so I think that made me think of something. So like, think of the difference between like Instagram and Facebook. They're two different ideas in the social media industry. The end users are completely two different things. Facebook end user is someone that wants to give photos of their life. They want to give text of their life, and they want to give a lot of links of what they're interested about. So Facebook is I think a majority, like when I see it now, it's a lot of links and like sharing. And Instagram, on the other hand, is all about like pictures. Like the whole platform is designed just around pictures. And so, and then Facebook's more like, I guess, text based, I guess you could say. But they're two different entities in themselves. They're not just like social media. And so I think that's the point of that end user. Like, is this person super interested in pictures? Are they super interested and then ours is like, they're super interested in like community, right? They're super interested in volunteering. They're super interested in skills. That would be ours, I guess.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I think the end user just can't be limited to like an age group or a class or education. It's like interest more
Okay.
because it could entail any group, right? You could be 7 years old and you want to learn how to skateboard. You could be 20 years old and want to learn how to skateboard. Like, so I think it's more interest based,
Okay. So
interest or desires or whatever.
Well, the age thing
so
would be a legal option as well. Like you can't have, I think, under 13 on a social media site because you're restricted to certain laws.
Mm.
Um, so that's why you need to put in your birthday when you're signing up for Facebook and MySpace.
interesting. Okay.
Because
So
then
then,
pedophiles can use it.
yeah, right. Well, so then, like, what's the industry that we're thinking of? So you're thinking about discovering like a community. That would be. I feel like there's got to be a name for that, or like, what is an industry of community building? I guess,
I
is there
think
an industry for that?
I think lately I've been doing a lot of research on like outdoorsy stuff
Mm-hmm.
because we have a few trips to like national parks coming up, and REI really has centered itself around. I don't know if you've really looked at their online content, but it's about building community around the outdoors, and I think we can do the same thing around the industry can be like a trade industry, right? The industry of learning new skills, so trades, and really build around education and online,
Okay. Yeah, education. That's what
right?
it is. Yeah,
That's what it kind of boils down to.
yeah. Um, so let's try this one going backwards. So like, what would they use it for? Teaching and learning skills, um, skills, hobbies. Um, so it'd be about teaching and learning skills and picking up hobbies. And then from there, you'd build a community around that, right? Because
Right.
like if you're hanging out
Correct.
with people doing stuff with them, then you're going to form a community. So who would be interested in that? Probably middle. So this is where like we pick an end user who's like that specific niche person, but it doesn't just have to be bought by those people. So it's like the people that are most likely to get this. So like, so think of like like an average of all these people, and then center in on that like middle average, exactly who that person is, and then everything will kind of branch from that person. So that end user, I think, is going to have more time on their hands. So they're going to be middle class and higher. Does that make sense, Sean? Like, you see what I'm saying there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not making it for that person. We're just saying that person is going to be the average.
Mm.
So make it for that person, and then kind of branch out and add things for other people. And that's so I guess, okay, this is making sense to me. So like that's the whole point of like the beachhead market. Like you pick your endpoint, make something for that person, and then your whole market that you're creating for is like more and more people after that, and that's where your business really grows. So middle class and higher, at least high school educated, right? Because they would have to be interested in learning. Um, she's attacking the mirror. Middle class and higher, high school educated. What else? Education. Who would not be interested in that? And let's find the opposite of those people. What time is it?
Nerds.
Nerds.
I mean, just like gamers, kind of like.
Okay.
I'm talking about like outdoorsy stuff, kind of. They're probably not gonna.
Introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
So extroverts. And so this can be like, we can make something for introverts too, right? And so it's like, so we all want to solve like a big like problem, right? So like, what is the big problem with like, why don't we have community now? And we're saying that we don't have community now because people aren't coming together over like learning skills and sharing things. That's what we're really saying. So we want people to, okay, I get you. So you want people to share. So it'd be good to target extroverts then, and then the introverts would come after that.
When they see the value being kind of marketed by the extroverts, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd have to like, yeah, push the extroverts to be the first buyers, first like the hooks. Middle class, high school educated extroverts. I feel like you can go more here. Did we say something earlier that I missed? Extroverts, outdoors people, right? Or the opposite of homebodies, right?
Social butterflies is really
Yeah,
extroverts.
yeah.
It's just outdoorsy people.
Yeah. So like achievers, right? The people that want to learn skills, maybe for like their job or something. Maybe someone that's productive. Okay. So we're kind of talking about ourselves in a way here, right? It's kind of pointing to us. Yeah. Right. I think so. That's how I'm seeing these things are going to end up being about, because these are problems to us and we're solving them for us and the people that are very similar to us. That's kind of like, right, we're speaking from our own perspective. I think that's how things are going to end up turning out.
Mm.
So there's different parts of us that we can like cut up specifically and then put them towards this industry. Okay. So, okay. I think that'll be good for this one. Any other industries that we can go into here? Or do you guys want to kind of dive into this one? We're probably just going to stay on this idea today then. Yeah. I think it's good though. I think we're all thinking. So let's go back to this nonprofit. So someone that volunteers in the immediate area, let's take this out because that's not the end user, but that's just the idea part. End user, volunteer. So this would be socially. I'm just thinking the ways that someone could be engaged. So like socially, politically, environmentally.
Economically.
Okay. 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 I think this one, like the end user here, we don't need to say like that person would be more extroverted or not, because you can do nonprofit stuff as an introvert. I think here we're looking at an end user. Well, so then it's like, then we kind of deal with the difficult issue because we have a two-way like market split, because our end user is both the people that would be teaching those skills and then the people that would be listening to those skills and being taught those. And so we have to treat those two things separately.
Right.
And so it would be like I think for me, I don't really agree with the term extrovert as like someone's state, but more as like, I don't agree with it as in terms of like someone's attribute of their character, but more as like a state of their being at that time. And so I think the opposite of this would be the people learning those skills. So like someone would be all this, but like introverted or at least just quiet. And then that would be the learner. If that makes sense. Like we need someone to be like, educated, have time in their hands, outdoorsy, productive, and then maybe just quiet, more on the quiet side, and they would be the learners of those skills until they get to a point where they are the masters, where they can extrovertly teach those skills.
Would they even be reaching out if they're introverted?
True.
Well, that's how you make it a game, right? Like the gamification of this platform is what would make it fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially if they have like a skill set that nobody else has, that we can make an incentive for like teaching someone how to play the flute or the clarinet or whatever, like make that more fun.
Mm-hmm. And so what you could do is like, so I'm just thinking of like, so the gamification. So you're basically doing like, so without the gamification, I'm just thinking of like a space where people can like teach and learn. And the first thing I think of is like YouTube. And so like, what is different from that? It would be that it would be the community that's created online where people have like, hey, this person does this person does that, right?
You would also be in person with this platform, right? Like you connect with this person online, but the learning is being done in person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different than watching a video and trying to teach yourself how to play the guitar, as opposed to going to someone's house because he lives down the street and then teaching you how to use the guitar, whatever.
Yeah. So, okay. So the big thing here has got to be the proximal limit. Okay. We got 5 minutes. Can we get one more in this different industry? So let's do career. I'm ahead, and let's just, I don't know, let's just think of industries. What about like just like social, like just a party? You get badges. That's pretty frat, dude. Go 10 keg stands at 10 consecutive parties.
Teach me how to play beer pong or something.
Yeah, dude, that'd be kind of fun actually. Or like this person, like win one beer pong game every time that you go out or something like that. I don't know. I wonder if you could tailor this towards like a self-development thing. Like, what if you could tailor this just for introverts? You know?
Yeah.
So like, say self-development, introverts, like people that want to go out, but they just like have a hard time doing it. So like you gamify it. So it's like a bunch of introverts like just going out together, and then this person's like, yeah, I had a history, and you can see my user history of like, I did this, I did that, and then I got this badge, and I started feeling really good at this point, you know?
Yeah. Or like teaching people learning how to go to the gym or going on hikes or, going even for walks in your neighborhood. Like those are all things to get people out of the house, especially when we start to get over this coronavirus thing.
I think what we're saying is that this part right here, this education, can be spread out into multiple different things. Like you could do like a fitness thing. And so I guess, no, well, what we're saying is that we just want to create something for everybody to create their own thing at. But yeah.
Because you could also do mentorship, right? For your career, like you were saying earlier. Like if I want to be an astronaut and I just happen to know that an astronaut lives across town, you can connect with them, right? Or if you want to go to this college and you know there's an alumni nearby, well, that's a good way to connect because you live locally.
Okay. Do you guys have any more final thoughts on this? Do you guys want to, we're going to basically, do you guys want to keep going on this idea, or do you want to like kill it and move on to the next one next time? Or not kill it, but just leave it sitting, and then we'll go to the next idea.
Let's try the next idea and see. Just go through all the ones that we got and see how we feel about all of them, and then decide if you want to like touch back on one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To encourage people.
What's the next one that we're going to talk about so we can start thinking about it kind of in the back burner for a week.
Create information, help people build a roadmap. Accountability. It's kind of a repeat.
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was a different one.
Yeah. We're going to go here then. For this one, let me make sure my things. So I think this one is its own color. Yeah, this like peach color, whatever this is. This was all like one, but then we bolded this one to show like the main focus of it. So this one is like creating, I guess, how to be good to your community, right?
Yeah.
Like the problems with our leaders now, and how we can really change things. It's saying how to build a community. This is you build a community. This is how to build a community.
Mm.
Okay. So the ways that we can think about this, we can say like, it's analyzing what our current community is and then how to improve it. So what it is and then how to improve it. So community is and how to improve it. So that's leaders, I guess individuals and collectives. Okay. It's hard when you get like, I don't know, when you have to like make it into something real, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes you like appreciate like, oh damn, there's some real good ideas out there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, guys.
All right.
That's
Nice.
fun. All right. I'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.